right. Hey guys, welcome back. It's Kate with Kate's Regretless Life. Let's go ahead and see what the symbols are for today. We have got Zeitgeist, which is also going to be the Fool card. We have Actress, and we have the Ten of Pentacles. Well, it's kind of an interesting blend because we don't have a leap of faith. We could have a masculine who's choosing not to take any action, but we actually do have a feminine who's doing very well, exceptionally well, financially well. Her energy is doing really well. Scorpio, she's passionate, she's gregarious. Let's go over and see about the Fool card. Taurus energy, which would be like stable and certain, but in this case we have him almost feeling like he's getting pulled along. Maybe he wants to resist her pull on purpose. Why? I mean, not like he doesn't have a right to, but why? We have poetry and arithmetic. I don't think that it's just for right now. I think he's, I believe he feels like he's going to fall for her, or even already has, but he wants to, like, not take some crazy big leap forward. He may be somebody who likes to take things a little slower no matter what. Let me just ask on that Taurus card, is he feeling like she is tugging at him energetically? Celestial power. Not exactly. He's feeling like there is a pull toward her, but it's like a powerful, like a bond or a relationship that he feels would, guide him toward her, or this is a divine counterpart. But he doesn't want to move too fast, which I think is to his credit here. He wants to take this slowly. He wants to not miss out on the poetry, the romance. He wants to take his time. He wants to, like, observe and build and grow slowly. I think he already knows that he's kind of wrapped up in her energy, but at this point, he still wants to move a little slower. Cancer and Dark Moon under that Ten of Pentacles. So there's emotion here, along with, like, mystery. There's an element where I think that she has talents that she keeps hidden. Let me go back to her for just a moment. With the Actress card, I don't know, maybe he's trying to figure out if she's for real or why he's so drawn to her. Whoops. Okay, Two of Cups is sideways. Look, she could be somebody who's somewhat of a performer or in the public eye in a certain way. I feel like he's drawn to her, but at the same time, he's still sussing out whether or not he thinks that she's the real deal, or is there something about her that's hidden? The Dark Moon and the Cancer energy there. Hang on. This is starting to not look great. He's hoping she's for real, but he seems pretty suspicious all of a sudden. Like maybe she's pretending that, or maybe she pretends with people that she's really vibing with them, and he's like, I don't know that I trust this. There's something, here's the thing that bothers me. It's this right here. I don't know why he's acting like she's got him in a headlock, and now he needs to see, like, ooh, how is she trying to drag me in, when he's the one saying that he feels like it's a celestial, energetic, like, bond that he has with her, but then he's still questioning it and kind of acting like she might be cheating him or lying him or have some hidden agenda. He comes across as kind of a little on the paranoid side. He's hoping that she's for real, but I mean, maybe this is just somebody who's been so used to being used that he's having a hard time believing that she's somebody that he's drawn to is the real deal, because maybe he tends to be drawn to people that are not legitimate. I mean, maybe that's what this is. The moon, it is definitely like, you know, in time I'll know if there's hidden agendas and secrets, and I definitely feel like he's not trusting of this at all. He still says I think that there's secrets. Are you thinking she's playing games with you, or are you worried you're playing games with yourself in regards to how you feel about her? That's the part that I'm trying to figure out. Mayoress of Water, I think he thinks he might be getting duped by her. But is she chasing you? Is she trying to get you in some way? Three of Air, he's saying no. In fact, I think she's been deeply wounded. That's how she comes across, as somebody who's been deeply wounded, but I'm just not sure. You know, I kind of feel like you need to watch it then a little bit, because it sounds like you're building up a case for how she's not trustworthy when you might be doing wrong a person who's already been done wrong plenty of times in their life and is still trying to put on a brave face or is trying to be kind. And instead you're like, oh, if she's being kind when I have a feeling she's been a wounded person, it's probably all an act. We've got the Courier of Earth in the reverse. Yeah, I think it's a good idea for him to pump the brakes here. If he's got this much distrust around her, it's unfortunate though, because it kind of looks like he's started out where it's like, oh, I'm just, you know, gonna not move toward her or assume too much is wonderful too swiftly, but then he's kind of talking himself into like, oh, she's probably fake anyway, it's probably not the real deal. I mean, I hope she's real, but I doubt it. And now I kind of think that if he's projecting that onto her and is going to start maybe making false summaries of her, hopefully he catches himself and kind of gets himself in check, because I think he's projecting a bunch of stuff onto her right now. But this would be sad if he erroneously summarizes her. Okay, so we have the Gemini energy. He feels like she's somehow quite a match for him. But he still doesn't trust it somehow. I don't know, maybe he has a Jekyll and Hyde side, and so he thinks that maybe she does too. I don't know. Six of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles sideways. Okay, so I'm going to suggest this. And I'm not trying to say he's corrupt or anything, but let's remember that she came out as an actress. And he doesn't want to move towards somebody who he sees as an actress. And because the very next card is a card of wealth, maybe he thinks that she plays a role in her life to a certain extent, and then that makes her business flourish. And so he's like, it could be insincere. I don't know if she's legitimate. Even though he's the one who says, I'm really drawn to her for this spiritual reason. I actually think she's somebody who's been deeply wounded before. But now he's like, oh, but unless maybe she plays a role to a certain extent, pretends to be nice or something, and then that makes her business flow better. But the reason he's suggesting this at all is because at some point he has surrendered something. I'll use the term sold out at some point, or been less than sincere himself. So maybe that's why he knows this all too well, because there's something here about like selling something for money, right? And, you know, out of a feeling of desperation, like acquiescing to things or surrendering things that we believed in, things that he believed in, for the trade-off was money. And maybe that's why he thinks she's doing it too. And that's why he's like, you know what? I bet you she's doing that just like I did that. It feels a little like, I don't know, maybe he's right. I don't see that though. I see him about to do a really hardworking, possibly, and theatrical and artistic person who seems to be quite innocent, he's about to do her wrong by starting to kind of project his own feelings of a time that he sold out, or that he felt like money drove him to a certain behavior, and that's what he imagines she's doing. Let me just ask, actress, feminine, tell us who you are. We have the Four of Wands sideways. She is very far away from having her perfect life. She definitely could be a writer, or somebody who's got a theatrical flair. She might be somebody who has a pretty rich life story, life history. She has not had an easy life, or a life that was somehow all structured and organized where she's getting everything that she wants. She comes across as single. I don't know if she's had success in marriage. Rhetoric at an angle here. I feel like, if anything, she maybe does know how to, as any wounded person knows, you pretty much learn how to hide your wounds, right? You may say the appropriate, polite things because nobody wants to hear your deep wounds, or you don't want to bring your deep wounds to the table, so you keep them to yourself. But your actual life story is, a freaking, magnum opus. Like, look at the manuscript here. Her life story, which has not yielded the results that she wanted, she may not talk about that. She may talk a good line about, and even like smile. This is kind of like glossy red lips. She may come across like everything's good. So she does play a role, but her as an actress, she puts on a smiley face for other people. Not because she's trying to trick people into thinking she's awesome and then giving her money, but rather she hides her own scars and wounds, which is very different than being a sellout. This is somebody who's like, I'm not going to burden you with my crap. If anything, with this Eight of Pentacles, she's possibly had to mold her life out of almost nothing, and she still is not really getting ahead or getting to where she needs to be. She may be trying to figure out what her next move is. She may be in a place of, like, she maybe has had to reinvent herself a couple different times, career-wise or something, but she still hides, like, her concerns and worries because she figures that they're hers to deal with. So I definitely would say, if he's building, like, a case against her for her being someone who's like playing coy or something, I don't think he could be more wrong about her, is how this comes across. He's starting to like produce like a negative opinion of her that I think is incredibly unwarranted, and it's going to cost him this connection for sure. With the 10 of air in the reverse, he may find out later on that he really did her dirty in assuming things of her, in withdrawing from her, in questioning a divine connection or counterpart of someone that he was drawn to, and then he made up these stories about her in his head. That 10 of Swords being there in the reverse, if he damages the way he, the way he deals with her, if it leads to something like a misjudgment, it could really hurt her, and it could be like she won't ever want to talk to him. Is that, this is just the warning, like, don't judge people and make up stories without knowing them. We have the card of Faith, though, at an angle as well. This could go either way. Look, I actually think, if anything, she's an incredibly loyal heart, and she may be holding space for him and be hoping for him, and maybe she really needs, like, somebody to believe in. Like, remember, she hasn't had her Four of Wands. She's, in a place of still kind of trying to build or transform her life, molding it, working really hard. And if anything, she's been trying to, like, keep the faith that, like, life gets better, or that loyalty and trust and partnership are still out there, even if she hasn't known it herself. And she goes to great lengths to hide her own hurt and pain, which is so weird because he knows that she had a Three of Swords. He knows that about her. But then he's almost doubting that, like, oh, maybe she doesn't really, maybe she's just an actress. Maybe she doesn't have feelings that run very deep. If he does her dirty by assuming kind of uncharitable opinions of her, it will really be painful. On the other hand, if he can actually see her for who she really is, which is like watch her behavior. How is she? Who does she behave as? You know, it feels like loyalty is huge for her. There may be like she's good with animals, or her pet loves her, or something about like there's some kind of hope and belief inside of her, and there is some kind of a kindness in her. Hopefully he can see that. Okay, I'm about to sneeze. But this could still go either way. I'm actually going to leave this one here because it leaves it with such an open-ended, you know, what's going to happen. Some symbols associated with this storyline could be somebody working with clay or putty, or something. It could even be like an eraser, like one of those rubby erasers. Easy for me to say. Very, very plastic lipsticky lips as well. Tears and running mascara also. This to me always looks like somebody who's sitting in like a very eclectic bar, and this feels like, you know, one of the like the pull handles for like dispensing beer, but it also looks like a stick shift in somebody's car, or somebody might have a stick shift, like maybe they have a manual transmission vehicle, but this is like a heavy equipment vehicle as well. But it just feels like you know, having something to grab a hold of that is true is really important, and it feels like that's where the crux of this story is. It's like he hasn't had something solid and sound to connect to, and he's starting to doubt her sincerity, and that's going to unravel all of this, and he's going to misjudge her. So we have a teddy bear as well, but it's kind of like a tattered little messed up teddy bear here, a bicycle. Somebody could come across like an old toy or something of childhood. There's that to me connects to like the idea of innocence that's kind of like lost. And I feel like he's kind of like judging her as being guilty of something she's not guilty of, instead of like knowing that how she's presenting might be exactly who she is. I know he does feel suspicious, but hopefully he will pay attention to her actions and how she behaves, instead of like, well, yeah, I see her behaving great, I see her as loving, I see her as somebody who's had hurts and wounds, but, and I can kind of pick up on that, but man, she hides them well. Probably she hides a ton. Probably the whole thing's an act. This says, you know, when you smell a real rose, know the difference between perfume and a real rose. So I don't know. There's just, and that could be something else, like the scent of perfume, or in this case, it's like lilies. But lilies to me don't have much of a scent. But I definitely feel like he's gonna have to pay close attention so that he doesn't misjudge this individual. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. If you didn't already know this, you can go to the playlist tab on my channel if you are looking for any of the zodiacs. They each have their own playlist. You could also just click on the live tab, since most of the content that I create is uploaded, or I should say live streamed, versus having been uploaded. All right, thanks again. Bye, guys.